Recording.
Great, thank you, and good evening, everyone. My name is Jen Tremin, and I am with the Atlanta Beltline Partnership. For those of you that don't know, we are the nonprofit entity for the Atlanta Beltline. I am excited to be wrapping up this series, which I've learned so much at. It is the Fix That Home Repair Series, which is a partnership between the Atlanta Beltline Partnership, Atlanta Community Tool Bank, Atlanta Land Trust, and House Proud to teach homeowners such as yourselves some basic home repairs and skills so that you can be safer and save some money inside of your homes. So tonight, I'm also excited to be joined by Kerry Carrier of KNC Heating and Cooling. He has 26 years of experience dealing with HVAC and all of that good stuff that he'll teach us about tonight. So really excited for him to join us, and we'll hear from him in just a little bit. So just some logistics. Before we get started, I'm gonna let my partners introduce themselves and then turn it over to Mr. Carrier, and then we'll watch about a 15-minute video that he prepared for us to walk you through some HVAC basics. And then at the end, you'll be able to ask him some questions if you just want to type this into the chat function or in the comment section if you're joining on Facebook Live, and I will help read those off to him. Please make sure you're muted throughout the whole time just to not cause any interruptions. And with that, I will turn it over to my friend Lisa with House Proud.
Get me unmuted. All right, me and unmute. You would think by now I'd have it figured out. Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa Flowers Jones. I'm the executive director of House Proud Atlanta. For those of you who don't know, House Proud is a small nonprofit. We conduct critical no-cost repairs for low-income seniors, the disabled, and veterans to keep them warm, safe, and dry in their homes. Think roofing, plumbing, electrical, heating and air. Anything that's going to make sure that they can age in place and remain in the community for as long as possible. I'm really honored that tonight Kerry Carrier will be, we will have a video from him, and he'll be talking a little bit and answering questions about heating and air. He's worked with House Proud for, probably about a decade now, close to it, if not that long, in doing heating and air repairs for our seniors. He's got a really big heart for seniors, a really great guy. Right now, we do have some funding for veterans, people who live on Atlanta's west side, and we also have some funding for, we just recently got some funding for people who live in Fulton County in general. We have emergency repairs. So if you have a neighbor or friend that might need some repairs, go to our website at houseproudatlanta.org. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Lisa. Adrian, you want to give a quick introduction of the Atlanta Land Trust?
Yeah, thanks so much. Hi, everybody. My name is Adrian Malden. I am an intern with the Atlanta Land Trust. We are also a nonprofit. We are committed to providing permanent affordable housing along the Atlanta Beltline or within close proximity. We do have, for those that are interested in what permanent affordable housing means, we do have an information session coming up that I'd like to invite all of you to. So I'm going to drop it in the chat. And I also want to say thank you so much for having us on here this evening.
Great, thank you, Adrian. And CJ, why don't you finish up the introduction?
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hello? Okay, thank you. Hi, I don't have a video, so I apologize, but it's nice to be with you all tonight, and I'm very thankful that we've been able to be a part of this partnership. And the Atlanta Community Tool Bank is a nonprofit that serves other nonprofits by loaning tools out for service projects. We also have the Tool Training Center, and there are some trainings and there's videos and things available to you. If you go to our website, atlanta.toolbank.org, you can check out the Tool Training Center and see what could be available to you. And I'm hoping that in the future we can do other trainings in partnership with all you wonderful nonprofits. Thank you.
I hope so too, and maybe one day in person again, which would be so lovely to leave our homes.
That would be even better.
Yeah. So thank you to my partners for those introductions. And before I show the training video, Mr. Carrier, did you want to say a few words of introduction?
Yes, first I'd like to say thanks everybody for allowing me to express my opinions about air conditioning and changing filters and and I really enjoyed it. And just thanks.
Great, thank you. And when we get to the Q&A, just we had a little trouble hearing you, so just maybe get a little closer to the phone when we get to the Q&A. But with that, we will start the video. So just give me 1 second.
Hello, my name is Kerry Carrier at KMC Heating and Air Conditioning. I've been in the field for 26 years. Today I wanted to talk about changing the filter and make sure that everything is done straight and aligned with procedures to keep the air condition and the furnace in excellent working order. Sometimes when you have a dirty filter, it causes problems with the blower motor, airflow. So it's very important that you have a good airflow clean filter. Before I get to the point where I can actually show what a filter is, I wanted to say a little bit about how the air conditioner runs first. This to here is the evaporator coil. An evaporator coil goes with the AC unit outside. What it does is it evaporates the freon. The freon lines run through these lines here on outside to the AC unit. This is very important that the filter is changed because the bottom of this evaporator coil can get clogged up, and when that does, you have to take the whole thing loose and start over again. So one point I want to make is that when the freon travels in, it comes in this small little, got my flashlight, this small little line right here. It's just behind this nut. It's what we call an orifice, a piston. When the water boils at 112 degrees. So when it reaches 112 degrees, it turns to steam. When freon boils, it turns to a vapor, and it's 43 degrees. So with that vapor running through this coil, what that does is make the whole coil cold. And with the fan motor blowing, that actually sends the cool air through each room through these ducts. Well, this is the return. Once it's not insulated, that's the return ducts. That's air coming in, and these are air going out. Later on in the video, you'll see where we explain some things outside with the outside unit. Let's talk about the furnace now. The furnace from here to here. The furnace works. This right here is the furnace from here to here. The furnace works on a control board. I'm gonna take it loose. This, by the way, this is a 5/16 bit. It's made to take those screws out. You can actually get to the inside components. Oops. And it has what we call a sequence of operations. The sequence of operations actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to crank this furnace up so you can see what I'm talking about when I say the sequence of operations. same thing that the thermostat would do upstairs. To start with, this is the draft inducer motor. This motor sends the fumes on out through the roof, right? And the drop inducer motor, once it turns on, it'll close this pressure switch that's kind of hard to see because it's back there in the back. Now, when it's sitting right here, it's kind of hard to see. But what the pressure switch does, it closes on pressure from the fan from this drop inducer motor. And once that let us know that the fan is actually working. If not, then the safety devices would come on and stop the whole unit from working, be safe for the gas. Then the igniter comes on, and that way the furnace is already lit. The last thing on the sequence of operation is the blower motor actually comes on. So we'll wait to see. Look at the blower motor actually. While we're waiting on the motor to come on, now you notice that there's a pan down here. That pan is for, let's say, in the event that some visitors come over and visit, and they're so happy to see each other, and they take their suitcase and they put it right over the return, and now the furnace isn't getting any air, intake air. So that would cause the evaporator core to clog up and ice up. And then when you say you go somewhere and you don't notice that suitcase is on, it's there blocking the air vent. And then once it ice up, once the ice thaw out, fan catches it. But when the ice up, we put a little switch right here. When the pan fill up, it'll cut the outside unit off.
Automatically?
Yes, ma'am, automatically. Okay, so now, I wanna, just for our purpose, I wanna put this back on here. Just a little bit so I can take it off. Thing about this furnace. This is an 80% furnace. The fuel type is metal. On a 90% furnace, which some people have in their homes, is you can use a plastic pipe or PVC pipe because the temperature of this air is like hot, and you have to have metal. But on 90% furnaces, some have a plastic pipe, and the temperature of that air is like below dew point, and it actually sweats on the inside, and you have to have another drain in order for the furnace to work correctly. This furnace, there's an 80% furnace. It's a good efficient furnace, and it should last a long time. But the main thing is to stop a lot of problems with repairs, is to change that filter. I do have some filters here. And I'm gonna take the doors back off just to change the filters. It's very important to put the filter in correctly too, because like I say, to keep the evaporator coil from clogging up with dust. So what we do, we take it, okay, there. Now, we do need to make sure that the filter is all the way set to the back to where it's really catching all the dust. So, in order to put the doors back in, and this is a big problem with a lot of customers. Can you see this groove right here on the inner edge of it? That sits inside here, inside the furnace at the bottom. So it's very important because a lot of people do this and then try to get the filter in, and then you have that problem. So you can sit that edge inside and then close it like it's a door. Then get the first one started. There. And always remember, you have to close the middle screw goes at the bottom, and these other two screws, they go here and here. And the top part is real easy if you take it and just line it up and then slide it up in there. Then start it. I do mine with a screw gun, but these are more convenient and least expensive. And tighten it up. The key to a lot of air conditioning heating work is preventive maintenance. If you can keep that filter changed at least 3 months, every 3 months, 4 times a year. And it is hard to remember. I can barely remember myself to actually change the filters for the unit. So what I do, I take just a regular calendar every year and I hang it on the wall, and I go to, okay, let's say January the 1st, and I write change filter. And I flip it back 3 months.
And change the filter.
April 15th, and I write on that change filter. And I go through it, and then the next year, I get another calendar, and I do the same thing.
Every 3 months.
Every 3 months. Depending on the size of the unit and the application, some filters vary in size. So once you get to change your filter for the first time, then you will know. And you could, when you write down, it wouldn't hurt to write down the filter size too, because that's another thing hard to remember. You know, it really is. I'd like to say a little bit about this pump. That's for the condensation. What it does in the air conditioning season, when the water drains out this line, it runs to the pump. It runs back when the pump, it fills up, the pump comes on and pumps the water all the way to outside, keeping the floor, clean. I'd like to go outside and have further talk with you about. Oh, one other thing. That door switch that you see me holding closed, that is a safety switch. That's really to keep the customer safe, so they won't be putting their hands in the inside of the furnace where there's flames and a turning blower motor that turns real fast. So they put that switch on there. When the door opens, the unit is automatically just making it safe for the customer. Injury. Okay. Hello, friends. It's me again. Here's the AC unit that goes along with the furnace in the car inside. It's a nice 14 SEER AC unit, high efficiency. When running correctly, it runs very good. And this coil that you see inside behind this metal all the way around, if we could keep that clean, washed at least every twice a summer, then that would help a lot, because that way this remember I said that the evaporator coil inside have with vaporizer, the Freon. The evaporator coil actually absorbs heat from the AC unit. It absorbs the heat from the air and through the Freon. And when it gets out here, this is the condenser, and it ejects heat. So the Freon is actually taking heat from the house and bringing it outside. Heat is a substance that, the dictionary says that heat is a substance at high temperature. But we call it heat is a substance that is moved from one location to the next location. One is where it's not wanted, and then rejected to a place where it's not needed. So this unit is equipped with a Copeland compressor and a nice high efficient fan motor that actually draws the heat air to it. That's why it's good to keep all the leaves away from it, because that'll block the process in the air conditioning field. Well, that concludes my analogy about the filters and the air conditioning and how they work. But I'd like to say that to all the people that made life so easier to work with by being so nice and friendly, and the 4 ladies that run the agency, they are so marvelous. You know, they took light and spread love all over the city of Atlanta. So thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much for that really informative presentation. And I love the way that you ended it. That was certainly cheerful for the times that we live in. So now I will ask Mr. Carrier, please say anything that you would like to the audience. And then for our friends, just type any questions you have into the chat, and we will answer all your burning HVAC questions.
Okay. I would like to say that I've provided some screwdrivers, some nut drivers, and it's on first come first basis. And what that does, that actually is used to take the nuts off the doors to get to the filter. I think Miss Lisa have them, and first people that call, first come first serve. And I like to say again how much I enjoy doing work. Like Miss Lisa said, I've been around about 10 years, and I really enjoy it. I just like seeing the joy in people's eyes when they see that furnace or that air condition crank up for the first time. And I'm open for questions. Anybody need a question answered, I'm here. Thank you.
So we'll get to questions. We have a few coming in, which is great. But first, for the offerings to our participants, which is great, Lisa, what would be the best way to get those? Because I want to make sure those that are joining get those before those to watch the recording. Maybe have them email you.
You're asking me?
Sorry, I'm asking Lisa.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, y'all. The mute button is my enemy. If you could shoot me an email at lisa.jones@houseproutatlanta.org with your address, I'll get those out in the next few days. I'll ship them to you. He was really nice to be able to send us those. And actually, I think we might have, because we have some in our own warehouse, I think we might have enough for almost every participant, but definitely just shoot me an email at lisa.jones@houseprodatlanta.org, and I will drop one in the mail to you.
Great, thank you, Lisa. And if anyone loses that, I will send a recap tomorrow with the recording, and you can just reply to my email asking, and I will get you guys connected. So, okay, Mr. Carrier, off to some questions.
Okay.
So here's a question about cleaning the unit in the summer. Do you think that they should just hose it off, pressure wash, include soap? What are your recommendations?
No soap on the car when you're cleaning outside. A condenser car. It has to be some car cleaner. Soap, what soap do is make the car actually, kind of start corrosion on it. So it'd be best to let somebody that knows how to do it do it. Definitely no soap.
Okay. And then can you just get that coil cleaner at like a hardware store or anything like that?
Yes, the hardware store do have it. You know, and if you just want to, you can get a spray bottle, and the kind you pump up, and just follow the directions on the Ace makes a good one. Ace, you can get it at the hardware store. It's called Ace, and you just spray it on there. You let it sit a little while, and then you rinse it off with clear water, and it really helps a lot to keep that car clean, and also to keep the filter changed.
Great, that is a good tip that I actually have not heard before. Okay, so next question. We have someone that has an issue where their HVAC unit appears to be working pretty well. However, their problem is that the house is really, really hot upstairs, but freezing downstairs.
Okay. Some problems were started from the beginning when the house was built. If they should have put a zone system up or use actually two different systems. But when they use just one unit for the upstairs and downstairs without a zone system, it really wasn't a good idea. It was just a fast way to get in and out when it was constructed. Because cool air falls and heat rise, and you just never be satisfied with that kind of application.
All right. Okay, so we got some more questions. This person has an HVAC maintenance plan and they come out every 6 months. Do you recommend that they come every 3 months instead to change the filter?
Okay. The filter do need to be changed every 3 months. What I do is I come 4 times. One time to check it for the summer, and then second time to check it for the winter. And in between those times, like I just go and just change out the filter myself. And then for the last time, maybe let's say the last 3 months of the year. So the filter be changed every 4 months. It's not, if you're going to change, if you want to just do twice a year, I suggest that you get a real good thicker, if you can get it to fit in there, 2-inch thick, they have more stability.
So a follow-up question to that, they were also looking to change their own filter, but there is a warning that said that would invalidate their warranty. Is that common? Is that something they should be worried about?
Okay, I missed the first part of that question.
So they were looking to change their own filter, but it said that it would invalidate the warranty.
I have never did that. That's not a good practice to me. If you want to change the filter, you can change the filter. I don't see why it should invalidate the warranty. Maybe I'll try to find someone else to to get a PM from preventive maintenance.
Well, and now they have a video to help them learn how to change it properly. So hopefully that helps. And it seems like this is maybe the last question, but definitely keep asking more if you guys have them. So this person lives in a condo. How often do you recommend cleaning the vents that are high up on the walls?
Well, the vents that's high on the wall, I would maybe every 18 months. You know, maybe the return vent maybe every once a year.
Great. So that was the last question. I'll give just a couple seconds if anyone wants to type in any last minute questions for Mr. Carrier. But I don't know if there's anything you wanted to, oh wait, we got some more questions. And they are the same. So do you think a duct cleaning service is necessary?
No. Reason being is that a lot of people that do duct cleaning don't have any license. And without having any license, they can't touch the furnace. So can you imagine? And also, you know, if you got, most houses these days have flex duct. Can you imagine something walling around inside the wall where you can't get to it, and it's flex and it tears up something, and after they leave, you don't have any air going to that one room? The best thing I would say is to keep you a good allergy-eating filter, because the dust can't pass through the evaporator car that I spoke of in the video. The dust only get into the return vents.
All right, so our next question is, what is a flex duct?
Flex duct, let's say in the 80s and before, there was hard piping and then wrapped with insulation, the duct that was duct work to each room. And now they have flex duct. It's flexible tubing with wiry tubing with insulation around it that comes in a bag, and it's flexible. You know, it's like you know, it's like it can just be mashed down into a bag. It's not the hard pipe type. It's similar to you've seen the dry vent, that spiral act.
I think so.
Yeah, the dry vent that you hook when you install a dryer.
Right.
It's similar to that.
Okay.
But it has insulation coating around it.
Some good tips, and there's a lot of people that are thankful for your information on the risks of duct cleaning. It's kind of scary to think there's unlicensed people doing that, and that's common practice. So I think that was our last few questions. So I just wanted to thank you for your time, and that video was certainly very useful and information that I don't think a lot of people commonly get. So I don't know if you have any final words you want to give to our participants before we say our farewells.
Well, I'm just wanting to say that thanks again for having me, for allowing me to express my thoughts.
Of course, we are happy to have you, and we will be sending out Mr. Carrier's contact information in my follow-up email tomorrow, along with the recording if you want to refer back to anything. And of course, don't forget to email Lisa for your